range, but that kind of is the Braxis holdout effect. Let's see where we're going next and see if maybe a double support would still be possible. Roll20, wait a second. I was sure. I saw Warhead and I was like, Gale Force. It's Gale Force. They picked this. We're going to do something crazy, but maybe we are, but for Roll20.
Roll20 taking us to Warhead Junction. I don't have much to say. I'm just bring on the draft. That's what I have to say here because I have no idea what they've got in store. If I was to guess something, it's got to be Glaurung based. If I was to guess what that weird, unique hero strategy style. But at the same time, he's been moving away from the melee, flashy playstyle as time has moved on.
Okay, so hear me out.
Hearing you out.
What did Goku say was the main thing that Gale Force esports were good at?
I mean, I would say globals and macro
Running
pressure.
globals. What if they're purposely taking them places where they know? Well, I guess, but they knew Braxis would be picked because Gale Force esports was home team. They're going to pick the first map.
Their draft is most predictable.
Yeah, their drafting is predictable. They figured out how to deal with Gale Force's globals, maybe.
From a strategic standpoint, I completely agree that makes a whole lot of sense.
Sure.
The only reason I'm kind of hitting the pause button here a little bit is, number one, that's the first time any team in North America has gone as far as to respect their opponent enough to consider the map predictability in the draft from what I've seen.
Sure.
And so I'm not putting it past them. I think it is brilliant if that is the case. It's just I didn't think Roll20 would be giving Gale Force that amount of respect, that this series would mean that much to them. Yes, it does have a lot on the line, but I feel like they're coming in here confident. So that to be the series they show it, I'm just wondering if they really are giving that to Gale Force. But you could very much be correct.
Or you're saying that Roll20 is coming in hot?
They've
rolled a nat 20.
Yeah.
It's a critical hit.
It's a critical hit.
It would be a critical hit, honestly, to defeat them on Braxis holdout. They're feeling good after that first game. Let's see what they have in store for us on Warhead Junction.
I'm going with like a Zeratul, maybe an Illidan Task Tracer. Those are the ones that stand out in my head is like if they're going to bust out the wild pick. And again, those are Glaurung focused, and he's been moving away from that. So let's say it's Prismat. Maybe it's even Goku, for that matter, that is going to bust out the wild hero. What in those avenues? Maybe a Leo for, you know, Goku. I can see that being something they make work here. Other than that, I'm a bit of a loss.
I really don't know, but we had a Hasuops Probius earlier today, so anything is possible on today in Heroes of the Storm.
Hasuops, the man who can set the tone for all of the world in what is possible. Thank you very much, Hasuops, for your contributions.
I just loved it because he really was a Protoss player, and then he plays Probius. It was like, yes.
Okay, that makes sense. We've gone full circle here.
Tyrael Greymane, whoa.
High in rotation for Roll20.
That's aggro.
Talk about all in. Very boss focused as well. Boss control from both of those heroes. But the task that is there for Gale Force esports. We know that the Tracer could be soon to follow here. I expect it to come before the secondary if it is going to be selected. But Tyrael is a hero that's actually pretty good at decentivizing the Tracer. I don't feel like it's a counter by any means, but it kind of is a soft just from the high mobility he provides. He's really good at trading decently into her out of all the warriors. Think about how free he is to gap close on top of her and make her look kind of poor, but then he also can save a lot of targets too, where she doesn't get the same damage output. It's not like a, oh, I don't want to, but it is a little bit more awkward than most warriors, especially because usually you're just like, how much crowd control do you have? You don't go, can you kill me? Because most can't. Gale Force is thinking about it though. They got 8 seconds left. Pressure's on.
It is.
It's going to be a double global.
A new Illidan. One global. So the only thing I was like, if it's not a Task Tracer, it's definitely a Task Illidan.
Yeah, it has to be.
Gale Force esports. They love their Illidan, and they will pick him up here. So now the consideration becomes, how do we do with this Illidan? Is Gale Force going to ban an Arthas? Can we take Arthas here? Arthas Tyrael. Tyrael gives movement speed to go along with Arthas, so he's not kited. He'd fit that death ball type of strategy very well for Roll20.
This is... For Roll20 in this ban.
I wonder if Gale Force is going to right wing with that task.
It would make a lot of sense.
Or Morales.
Or Morales. You know, I know she was changed.
She's popular in Korea.
But, like, is she popular with an Illidan who's going to be diving all over the place?
They played that yesterday.
My
Gale Force did. I'm
always so very scared when I see those two together. But to be honest, I do have a theory on why that would work better with Gale Force esports than some of the others. We'll bring that to light when the game unfolds, because it is a bit of a talking point on mainly how they use their Illidan. Yes, they do love their Illidan, but I will kind of raise the question, should they love their Illidan, or at least the way they kind of play it out. Their initiations do seem to be a bit lackluster in the world of globals and how the hunt is used.
Okay, so they did play Morales with Illidan, but that was also the Vikings composition. So we're not for sure that that is a standard thing for them, but they do feel like Morales is...
It's Juice Pirates. They're afraid of Juice Pirates.
Ah, yes.
That's a classic Juice Pirates. Anybody who doesn't know what Juice Pirates is, it's an old strategy, usually used on Sky Temple because you can open up the fort the fastest, but it's essentially the Morales. You all in onto the keep with the Medevac, then you drop the Sanctification, nobody takes the damage. And whenever you get the keep, then you go to the core. You just all in over and over and over again onto the core in hopes that you just outdamage your opponent.
And I do believe it's called the Juice Pirates because it used to be played with Raynor, who gives Inspire, and then Pirates because it shows a little pirate ship on the map, right?
I do know the Juice aspect, don't know the pirate one. I wasn't the original.
It was a little pirate ship on the mini-map.
It was the second rendition of Cloud9 that named it, so I don't actually know the thought process behind that all. Sad days, but...
It remains a mystery in the best way.
In the best way possible. I like it. I think it's one of the best strategies that we have.
What I'm glad is that it's still a possibility even with the Morales changes. But we've got Ariel Lily instead.
Not what I expected there whatsoever.
Lines for days for that Illidan.
Illidan's going to have a hard time here for Gale Force Esports. Now, what's the Major going to bust out to maybe make up for that? Because there's no way you want to lock in another auto attacker after seeing those. A lot of cross-supporting across the board. So, Lily suffers into burst. Ariel, one of the weaker into burst, no cleanse, but the Lily has the cleanse. So how do we come up with this solution, Gale Force Esports? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm struggling here.
I'm pretty sure they were wanting to do their Illidan Vala like they were running yesterday.
Not that. I'm not going to say it doesn't have a chance, but I'm going to say it's very, very grim or slim chances. This has to be a mage somewhere to make up for this, an enabler. I wouldn't mind the Jaina actually. I think that might be the one that I want to see, just the all-in one-shot. But Tyrael is such a good anti-Jaina, so I mean to be honest, I want KT to be frank, but I know he's not an option.
Not today.
Not today,
Next
boys.
Next week.
Soon. So who is it?
Brightwing, of course.
And Falstad. Triple global, again, for Gale Force Esports. They're going to have to make it look good in this one. And it's Zarya, last pick.
There you go, Dread.
Are they 5-man? They're 5-man laning. Is Roll20 all inning?
I'm not even going to... Weeks, Dread. They have spent weeks on their strategy for Gale Force. I won't even begin to try to figure out what went into the thought process for these comps, but explain maybe where you're going with this.
Yeah, because I realized, are they all inning? And everybody's like, what the hell is all innings, right?
I think it's a good, all in is a good implication of what it means, but maybe just in case.
It's a feel the heat up in your face, 5-man and all in the same lane. You take as much damage as possible. You have Tyrael, Greymane, and Zarya. Those are some of the highest cross-supporting damage output, but also siege heroes in the game. So you just walk up to the front walls. You abuse the Ariel, who's getting hope off of the Greymane, AoE supporting. Lily, also one of the better AoE supporters. One of the higher damage outputters, too, in the world of support. So you just walk up to the walls. You go, this is mine now. It disappears, and you move on to the next one. While Gale Force, they're cross-supporting, side-soaking. It is harder into a double global and triple global for that matter. So I don't think they have to, but they could decide to do that with this type of draft. The biggest thing I got to say is if I see a grenade build, I'm going to be a sad panda into a double support, especially with Brightwing having AoE passive healing. Please give me Feel the Heat.
We could not get through that without talking about the Zarya build, so I guess we'll see what it's going to be. Let's do it game 2 with Roll20 currently sitting 1-0 in this best of 5 over Gale Force. And what is it? Prisma? Is it going to be Prisma? It might be Goku playing Zarya.
I always, it's just like with Feel the Heat for
There
me,
you go.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't stand the heat, get off the Zarya, is like how I feel about it. That should be the standard phrase for Zarya. If you can't stand the heat, get off Zarya. Because you got to feel it. You got to feel it good. Goku is the man on the Zarya.
We've got a Prismaticism Lily. That Bud's Skinergy is pretty cool.
You like it?
I'm liking it.
So 1-3-1.
It's an angel in space. How do you not like it?
I mean, literally Space Station Gaming and Picterion is the same thing. I mean, I just feel like you're underappreciating Space Station Gaming and the out of this world dimension or aspect that they provide for HGC.
They can pick it up.
You are right.
Tiger JK, here you go.
Here you go. That's the synergy.
We are, in fact, not all inning.
We aren't. Sad days. It's going to be a 1-3-1 or 2-1-2. It's a kind of Lily's, the hover Lily, classic Lily play. Not really, actually. Normally, if you do see a Lily, she sticks to a lane because she's one of the best lane bullies in the game.
She is very good.
Also good anti-siege, so it makes sense that she's going to match the 4-man of Gale Force Esports. They're just dancing around, facing front walls left and right.
Yeah, she's got Gale Force already, which gives increased damage on her Blinding Wind. And then at level 4, when she gets Mass Vortex, she can hit 4 targets instead of the standard 2 with the blinds. That will be very useful versus the composition that Gale Force has chosen to employ on Warhead Junction in Game 2.
But you can tell the Gale Force things currently aren't going according to plan, just judged by the Falstad build. Hold up here. Barrel roll used. It's interrupted.
Wow.
That is going to be a huge
Grenade.
kill. Grenade 1. Grenade 2.
We've got the auto attack.
Ariel's in the way.
Oh, there you go. But just wanted the kill. Kill steal.
I mean, absolutely. Got to get that chaos for first blood. How often can you say supports the one getting first blood?
Bud's got it. Glowring's going to come in. King Caffeine's there. Brightwing will even phase shift in. Watch for the Polymorph. Polymorph hits Glowrung. King Caffeine burrowed into, but Glow with the shielding of Justing and the supporting of Lily was just fine.
And before Fan went down, what I was going to say about Falstad is that fact that he went into Gathering Storm traditionally indicates that he wanted to be into more of a not a 1v1 lane matchup. So the fact that he's stuck there dealing with the Zarya is a bit of a kind of awkward situation for him. Normally you would, it might change post 10 once they have the Illidan with the Hunt dancing around, the 4-man Falstad can't commit to.
Roll20 are hanging out here, but they have already gotten the mid. It's so interesting. They're the ones who are spread out, even though it's a multiple global composition for Gale Force. Gale Force sticks together, gets the top nuke, starts setting that, and immediately is stopped setting that by Buds. But in that time, Roll20 not only got a nuke, contested for a little bit, decided against it, and got a mercenary camp for Greymane in the bottom lane.
They're just winning on all fronts here over Gale Force Esports. And now with a full level lead pre-10, I mean, the minion wave is pushing against Gale Force in both top, mid, and bottom, so the experience isn't as lopsided as it currently looks, but it's still pretty bad. Roll20 should not be this far ahead at all, considering the fact that they have only gotten that 1 kill. So this is just brilliant transitions, and another case of levels 1 through 9, the double global of Gale Force Esports not holding its own to Roll20. This is not good at all, Gilly. This is the core composition of Gale Force, and Roll20 straight up dismantling it back to back.
And without a single global, just good rotations, fantastic macro play, and catching that 1 pick. Nobody has used their first nuke as of yet. Michael Udall may be getting into position to start sieging in this bottom lane. He did take Unbound again. This is something that we saw Mike pick yesterday versus Lag Force as a way of making faster rotations. Look at the top.
Yeah, top lane, the boss is going to be starting. I also, on second thought, in talking about Fan's build, I realized this because of the double blind that he went into mage stat. It took me a while to figure that out, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. But actually, now thinking about it, it was because they wanted to mage in that last slot. So not surprising to commit to that build, but still be in the 1 versus 1.
Yeah, good call.
I was just like, it just didn't add up. It didn't seem like a fan decision to make here. But the boss picked up for Roll20. Gale Force has started their own up on bottom. A double camp here, 1 warhead in the hands of Prismaticism, but the fort's already dead before the boss gets there. This means Roll20 wants minimum of keep. If they get even enough damage, and again, they have a Feel the Heat, great siege composition, they might even risk game depending on.
But it's not so bad because Gale Force has been doing the same thing in the bottom lane, right? They have also been sieging down that fort. They're working on getting the boss the bottom lane, and they themselves have a nuke. Unfortunately for them, that nuke just phase shifted up to the top lane to try to help defend, and they are going to use that as a defensive strategy because
and it's not even going to hit the boss.
It is not going to hit the boss.
It barely hits the camp, Gilly.
Because Roll20 had the faster rotation, the faster boss pickup. They are taking down this keep, and how?
If they had 10, they'd be going for game here. The boss still at 50% HP, but they're looking to move up, maybe get some core damage. There is no mule available. We'll find out here. The turret drops, and Roll20 moves forward.
They're still going.
They won it.
They're getting on the core right now. Boss is about a third of its health. Michael Udall doing what he can to his detainment strike will stop it for now, but Roll20 still sieging down this core. It's at 60% and it's still going down. All the members of Roll20 are still alive. Nobody at all has fallen. This is a 5-minute game. Roll20 just won in 5 minutes.
I asked, would Roll20 all in? And the answer was yes, but not at the time I thought they would. They used their sieging deathball composition with the boss rather than in the early laning section. Stop the bleeding of Gale Force, and then at the end of the day, looking good here.
I'll be
Very good.
honestly, guys, this was so fast that nobody was even in position. We weren't in position. It was like, oh.
Nope. There's guys up in the back. Yeah, our camera
The
guy, in
game?
case you're wondering, he was trying to get a snack going on, and he was like, oh, the game's over. 5 minutes in. All right.
It doesn't happen very
No.
often. We were surprised.
I a little bit, you know. I mean, to be honest.
You were surprised.
Go back, look at that last replay, look at how much damage Zarya does to the core, and then let me know if you're surprised that you're willing to a set call. I will keep talking about the talent because its siege damage is just absolutely ridiculous. Her auto attack speed at max range, she was sitting at over 80, 90%. She was just...
The core's like...
And everybody's like, the first kill target for the members of Gale Force was Zarya because of her damage output. And they still couldn't kill her.
Well, I have some good news for you. We can go back and watch the replay of this.
Look, you can't individually separate it because we can't look at the stats, but I'm telling you, she's got to do roughly 20,000, it feels like, to the core. She just, I mean, it's not really 20K, let's be real at this stage, but it's close.
This nuke was rough. Goku just making everybody feel the heat. The Detainment Strike on Michael Udall was really good on the core, too, once Bud sees that staying in the back. But Glaurung is also another really scary target. Normally, he would be the first target to try to take down on the core, but because Goku is consistently keeping that energy up, still had enough on the boss, they'll just
watch this thing, dude. He
step back forward. He tanks some shots.
This is it. That's the game. He doesn't move. How much damage do you think he does to the score?
Just look at it.
0 respect.
You can hear it. It's full. He finally dies.
Your core is mine. Very well done from Roll20. Impressive play.
I cannot believe.
I didn't think they would pretend, to be honest. If that was a sanctification composition, I'm like, oh, this game is donezo. With a Zarya, even if as long as they don't have Mule, that's a winning call. Like, just go for it. I just didn't know they would be successful with that early on was the biggest thing. And luckily so, because if we take a minute to consider, let's say that had been later and that call had happened literally 3 levels later, then you're looking at Gust, you're looking at Emerald Wind. There's a lot of good disengage. And a new Barak, I believe, existed on the other side. There's Cocoon. I mean, you don't end the game. You just don't have a chance outside of your sanctification and your 5 seconds of, playtime. You easily fail that core call. So it was good decision-making from Roll20 to understand that.
Well, that was game 2. So we're going to go to a break. We'll be back with game 3. See you soon.